As a result of our videos on the shutdown and restart procedure, we are asked to give a quick run through on maintenance of handpieces and how they should be cleaned, maintained and stored. There are so many different makes of handpiece. The most important thing to remember is that you get, as part of your setup, you get the right adapter for the right handpiece for the maintenance side. So for a contra angle, it is a basic ISO fitting, so it goes in. For a cavo, it is a appropriate fitting, and for some of the other units, the other handpiece makes, they will all have their own adapters. So as the handpiece comes into the room, the first thing to do is to clean it externally. They do not go in ultrasonic baths. They can go in washer disinfectors as long as they have the appropriate symbols on them. We're all used to the symbols for the 134, which tells us it can go into an autoclave, but the little spray system means it's also compatible with a washer disinfector. If it does not have that, then it shouldn't go into a washer disinfector because it could be damaged by the process. Cleaning the exterior of the handpiece is done with a wipe, making sure there's nothing stuck to it. We quite often see them with cement on it, making sure it hasn't gone rusty, that it hasn't lost the surface. If it has, it should be removed from service. Then using the correct adapter. On this one here we have multiple adapters. It can have all different types. We have one here which will allow us to oil our contrangle. This manual oiling is still an option. Pressing that for the appropriate period of time. Then take the handpiece out and leave it standing so that the excess oil that's in the handpiece can run back out of it. You've also, where you have a push button chuck, you've also got a requirement to actually lubricate that as well, because that does get sticky, and we get quite a lot of problems where people say they can no longer get the burr in or they can no longer get the burr out. So there is an adapter that's specifically made for it, and it's a very fine point with no extra outlets. So all you do is you put the adapter into the handpiece. A bit of tissue around it is usually a good idea so you don't get down, and you just spray and then operate the chuck a couple of times to make sure that everything is getting oiled properly. That will then allow that handpiece to be processed and followed on into the autoclave once it's been bagged. There are many automatic units out there. This is a BA International unit, and it can have up to 3 different handpiece adapters on it, plus it's got the one for the chuck as well. The important things to remember is if you're maintaining turbines, you also need to maintain your slow speed motor. If it is an air motor, then it needs to be oiled the same as a turbine. If it is an electrical motor, then it doesn't need to be oiled. You should also, where you have removable sleeves on these, you should take them off on a regular basis, clean and wipe in here, clean and wipe inside, and put the unit back together again. Oiling an air motor is through the smaller of the 2 large tubes. That is the air inlet, this is the air outlet, exhaust. If you oil it the wrong way around, you're making the unit work in the opposite direction, and it can lead to problems. An air motor should be oiled on a regular basis. Unfortunately, they get left on the lines for months and months on end, and you start losing power and losing cutting force because the motor is actually dry and slowing down. Once the unit has been oiled and left to drain for an appropriate period of time, then they can be bagged and autoclaved in a vacuum autoclave at 134 degrees. And once they've gone through the process, they can be left in their pouches if you don't need them for up to a year. But if you are using them straight away, then they need to be oiled and autoclaved after each patient.